The man sitting across from you slides a phone across the table and tells you to read the number on the screen. You read it. It is the amount you will be paid at the end of 30 days. You have been awake for 19 hours and you are sitting in a warehouse at 4 in the morning, and there are 4 men in this room who you met for the first time 6 hours ago, and none of them have told you their real names. And the number on that screen is more than you made in the last 2 years combined. You said yes 3 weeks ago when a man you knew from your neighborhood described the opportunity in terms vague enough that you could tell yourself you did not fully understand what you were agreeing to. You understood. You just needed the money more than you needed the honesty. Your mother's medical bills are $114,000. The payment plan the hospital gave you will take 11 years. 30 days. One number on a screen. You look up from the phone. You say yes. And just like that, your first day begins. They give you a phone. Not your phone. A new one, still in the box, which one of the suited figures slides across the table without a word. The man across from you says your old phone stays here for now. He says you will get it back at the end of 30 days. You hand it over because you came here knowing this was part of it, and because the number on the screen made the handing over feel like a reasonable exchange. The phone in your pocket has your mother's number in it, and your best friend's number, and 7 years of photographs. You hand it over anyway. They take you outside to a black SUV parked behind the warehouse. There are 2 more men waiting by the vehicle that you have not seen before. You get in the back. Nobody tells you where you are going. You watch the city disappear through the tinted windows as the SUV moves through streets that get quieter and darker the further you go from the center. After 40 minutes, the SUV stops outside a building that looks like an ordinary apartment block. It is not an ordinary apartment block. Your room is on the 3rd floor. It is clean and functional, and the lock on the door is the kind that locks from the outside as well as the inside. You notice this immediately. You say nothing about it. They come for you at 7 in the morning. 3 hours of sleep on a mattress that smells like someone else's decisions. The suited figure who knocks is not the same one from the warehouse. He does not introduce himself. He says, "Get up, get dressed. Be downstairs in 10 minutes. You are downstairs in 8. The work they give you on day 1 is not what you expected. You expected something dangerous, something that would require you to make the kind of decision that you had been rehearsing in your head for the 3 weeks between saying yes and arriving at that warehouse at 4 in the morning. Instead, they put you in a room with a laptop and a spreadsheet and tell you to find the errors. You are good with numbers. This is why they recruited you. Not for your size or your willingness to do things that other people would not do, for the fact that you studied accounting for 2 years before dropping out, and that you can look at a column of figures and see immediately where something does not add up. You find 17 errors in the first 2 hours. The man who comes to check your work looks at the screen for a long time. He says, "You are faster than the last one." You do not ask what happened to the last one. The day has a rhythm. Spreadsheets in the morning, a meal brought to the room at noon, good food, better than you expected, served by someone who does not make eye contact. More spreadsheets in the afternoon. A walk around the building's internal courtyard at 5 p.m. accompanied by 2 suited figures who position themselves at exactly the right distance to make clear that the walk is supervised without making it feel like a prison exercise. It almost feels like a prison exercise. You meet 3 other people during the day who are clearly not suited figures. A woman in her 30s who passes you in the corridor and looks at you with the particular expression of someone who recognizes the first day on your face and wants to tell you something but has decided against it. A young man about your age in the courtyard who nods at you once and then looks away as if eye contact costs something he cannot afford. And an older man at dinner who sits 2 tables away and eats with the practiced efficiency of someone who has been here long enough to have no opinions about the food. None of them speak to you. You understand why. At 9 p.m., a suited figure comes to your door and says, "Lights out at 10." You lie on the plain bed in the plain room with the lock that works from both sides. You think about your mother. You think about the spreadsheets and what the numbers on them represent when you follow them far enough. You think about the woman in the corridor and what she almost said. And you think about the last one, the one you were faster than. You think about the last one for a long time. You are still awake at 2 in the morning. The building is quiet in the way that buildings are quiet when everyone in them has learned that making noise at night is not worth what it costs. You stare at the ceiling and you do the calculation you have been avoiding since you handed over your phone. 30 days, 29 remaining. You got through day 1. You found 17 errors in a spreadsheet and you ate food you did not cook, and you walked in a supervised courtyard and you learned the faces of 3 people who will not speak to you, and you noticed a lock that works from both sides, and you did not ask what happened to the last one. That is what day 1 costs. You think about what day 15 costs. You think about what day 29 costs. You think about the woman in the corridor and whether she's on day 2 or day 12 or day 27. You think about whether there is a day 30. Not in the way the man at the warehouse described it, the phone returned, the payment made, the 30 days concluded like a contract. In the other way, the way that the lock on the door that works from both sides suggests, the way that the last one suggests. You have been lying here for 4 hours and you have not slept, and your mother's medical bills are $114,000 and the payment plan will take 11 years, and you said yes, and you handed over your phone, and you are on the 3rd floor of a building you cannot leave. And tomorrow is day 2. At 6:58 a.m., you are already awake. You have been awake since 2. You wash your face in the small bathroom attached to the room. You look at yourself in the mirror. You look like someone who made a decision and is now living inside it. At 7 exactly, there is a knock at the door. The suited figure in the corridor is not the same one as yesterday. They are never the same one 2 days in a row. You understand this is not accidental. He says the same thing the one yesterday said. Get up, get dressed, be downstairs in 10 minutes. You are already dressed. You follow him into the corridor. You pass the woman from yesterday. She looks at you the same way she looked at you yesterday, except for one thing. Yesterday, her expression said she wanted to tell you something and had decided against it. Today, her expression says something different. Today, it says, "Welcome to day 2." You walk past her and you follow the suited figure toward the stairs. And somewhere between the 3rd floor and the ground floor, you understand something that you did not understand yesterday when you were still telling yourself that 30 days was a number with an end to it. There is no end to it. Not because they will not let you leave, because of something much simpler and much worse than that. Because you need the money. And when 30 days is over and the payment is made and the phone is returned, you are going to have a mother whose bills are paid and a skill set that exactly one type of employer in the world will pay this kind of money for. And they already know that. They knew it before you did. That is why the man at the warehouse was smiling when you said yes. You reach the ground floor. The day begins.